I don't care what time of year it is. I'm always up to discussing the paranormal and sharing my experiences and the research that I've conducted. I also love hearing other people's stories and experiences, and I've always been tapped into the spiritual realm since I was a little girl. I do believe that I have a sixth sense. And I know I'm going to get some eye rolls. I know there are non-believers and people who think you're just being delusional and crazy and saying things to gain attention, views, clout, likes, comments, subscribers. But it doesn't matter because I know what I saw and I know what I felt, and no one can take that away from me or diminish it. It's my experience. So with that being said, I want to backtrack to when I went to Madrid, Spain with my friend in December of 2022. We were spending 5 days in Madrid and 5 days in Barcelona. I think I want to say our third or fourth day in Madrid, my friend asked me if I wanted to attend a flamenco show with her. I was up for it, you know? We were just kind of taking it day by day. We didn't really have a distinct itinerary. So we pull up to this flamenco theater / bar. It's called Essential Flamenco, and it is in this very old building in Madrid. You go down into a basement, and the basement looks like a wine cellar. It has brick all around it. You have very low ceilings. There are these red chairs that the audience sits in. The stage is very small. It's a very intimate setting. So you get up close and personal and you get to see it, you know, in great detail. So when we were walking into the place, I immediately felt that the theater / building in general had a lot of history to it. It looked like it was very old. When we were watching the performances, I started to feel like I was in a trance because the dance in and of itself is just so beautiful, and everything that you're worried about or consumed with disappears from your brain. So once the performance was over, you had a little bit of time afterwards to stay and mingle and talk with the performers, get a drink. And I decided that I wanted to go to the bathroom. So the bathroom was up on the first floor of the theater. And it was one of those bathrooms where you could only go in by yourself and close the door behind you. And it was kind of strange because when you would close the door behind you and lock it, there was a stall to go into after that. So even though it was a singular bathroom, you still had to go into a little stall and close that door. Now, before I tell you what happened after this, I want to quickly backtrack to the history of the flamenco dance culture and Madrid as a city in of itself. According to the official tourism site of Madrid, it states that the first historical record of Madrid dates back to the year 865, when Emir Muhammad I commissioned the construction of a fortress in the village of Madrid on the banks of the river Manzanares. We're taking it way back, okay? That's the medieval era. When you visit Madrid, you can immediately start to see in your general surroundings the history of the city and how old and worn down many of the buildings are. There are many places that Madrid has that are known to be haunted. Some of them are the House of the Seven Chimneys, Linares Palace, Number 3 of Antonio Grillo, Reina Sofia Museum, Terso de Molina Subway, Church of San Ginés, and the Ghost Station of Chambéry. If these locations are being documented as potential haunted and paranormal places, I have to believe it because I've had previous experiences where I visited an allegedly haunted place and I myself felt the energy. I myself had that feeling come over me of, yeah, I'm not the only one that's here right now. if you get what I'm saying. The flamenco dance holds a lot of history, and according to gettours.com, flamenco dancing dates to the 15th century, though there are claims the art dates back to even the 14th. The golden age of flamenco rose during the Romantic era, from the late 1700s to the mid-1800s. According to Britannica.com, the roots of flamenco, though somewhat mysterious, seem to lie in the Roma migration from Rajasthan in northwest India to Spain between the 9th and 14th centuries. These migrants brought with them musical instruments such as tambourines, bells, and wooden castanets, an extensive repertoire of songs and dances. In Spain, they encountered the rich cultures of the Sephardic Jews and the Moors. Their centuries-long cultural intermingling produced the unique art form known as flamenco. Flamenco has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it has, of course, evolved over time. However, it has stayed rooted in its traditions, and that was very much evident to me when I was watching the performance with my friend in Madrid. So, let's go back to when I'm in the bathroom. After I'm done using the bathroom, I go to wash my hands. And above the sink is this beautiful gold mirror that allows you to see everything that is behind you, the entire square footage of this tiny bathroom. I'm drying my hands, and I look up, and directly behind me is a woman. And she's staring at me. And she's not all the way at the end of the bathroom up against the wall. She is literally probably 2 inches behind me. That's what it looked like and felt like. This was only about 5 seconds of me looking at her in the mirror, but it was enough for me to put together what she appeared as. This was a flamenco dancer. She had the hair that was slicked back in a bun, but the front of her hair was that typical flamenco style where it's kind of slicked to the side, parted all the way from here over, and she's wearing some sort of red dress, and she's wearing red lipstick, and I remember she had like a birthmark right on her cheek under her eye, and her skin was more pale, and I remember the look of sadness in her eyes and her whole entire face. It was as if she was trying to get help from me. When she was looking at me, I was looking back at her and I couldn't move, but I wasn't afraid. I was more so confused because for a split second I thought that there was someone else in the bathroom with me this whole entire time. But then I rationalized and remembered that this was a singular bathroom and the door had been locked and there was no other stall to be used. It was a singular stall. So, not to mention the feeling that had come over my body. It was the feeling that I've had in the past when I've also experienced ghostly paranormal entities. It clicked in my head that what I had just experienced was a ghost. I swear up and down, you have no idea what this felt like, what I saw. I'm trying my best to visualize it for you, put it into words. When I looked at her, I knew right then and there that she wasn't from this time period, and that further solidified it for me because the way that she was dressed, the way that her makeup was done, it wasn't what you would see in present day. Even with the flamenco dancers that I just literally saw perform downstairs right below me, looked more modern, right? This woman looked like she was from the 17 or 1800s, maybe early 1900s, but more so 17 or 1800s. And even the way that she looked physically to me, it was kind of grainy. Like she had a loss of color. Even her red dress was very diluted. You could obviously see it was red, but it was diluted. I checked the entire perimeter of that bathroom. Nobody was there. The door was locked. I checked, did I 100% lock that door? Yes, I did. There was no other doors around. There was no other way to enter. It was just me. I left the bathroom and I met up with my friend and we were putting our coats on and heading out. And I didn't tell her what happened until later that night because I was still trying to process it. Again, I wasn't scared. I wasn't feeling as if I was a deer in headlights, but I did internalize what I saw. Like, the emotions of that woman were carrying with me. When my friend and I got some dinner afterwards, it was then that I told her what I had experienced. And she didn't discredit me or seem like she was in disbelief. And I'm truly grateful for that. She listened with intent and she validated my experience, and she told me that it probably did happen. And we're in an old city, we were in an old building, so you just don't know what types of spirits or entities are circulating amongst you. As soon as I got back to the hotel, I immediately started researching to see if any other visitors had experienced any paranormal activity at Essential Flamenco, but my search was inconclusive. Nothing was showing up, and to this day when I check, still 0 search results. However, whether people realize it or not, I do believe that place is very much active. And if you're tapped into the spiritual realm, you're probably more likely to pick up on that energy, and I think that's what was happening to me. I mentioned earlier that the woman in the mirror looked visibly sad. And when I was researching about who primarily performed flamenco in the earlier centuries, it was indicative of people of lower class, lower society. According to flamencobarcelonacity.com, flamenco came from the lower levels of Spanish society, lacking of the prestige among the upper classes. It is a music that represented the spirit of desperation, struggle, hope, and pride during its persecution. And it makes sense now because the woman looked like she didn't want to be a dancer, that she was doing it to make money, but her heart wasn't in it, that she was forced to perform. She just looked miserable. So I wonder if that encounter was trying to send a message to me about the real truth behind flamenco, the history, why it came about. I feel it's much deeper than just performing so that people can have a good time. It holds a lot of weight. It holds a lot of emotion and intensity. Even with the foot movement and how the shoes that they use click and bang and move across the floor in a loud way, and they're able to create rhythm and sound just with their shoes alone. And their outfits are very frilly, vibrant. When they spin around, their whole dress moves with them. I don't know when exactly that woman lived or where she was from or her story, but for whatever reason, she wanted to present herself to me, to send a message. And maybe she felt safe revealing herself at that moment. I don't know. All I know is that it happened to me, and I will always share this story going forward. Let me know what you think. Have you ever been to Spain? Or have you ever traveled somewhere and had a paranormal encounter? If so, please share it below. I love hearing those types of stories, and you never have to worry about me looking at you any type of crazy, because I 100% believe in things like that. And I think it's important that you share your experiences with people, because there are tons of others out there that have also felt or seen things that they have no explanation for. That's all I've got. Bye.